Hello guys, on this prologue to Up to Spec, I'm going to be talking about the definition of microphone technique. Whether or not you're going to be following along with the videos from the basic playlist or the advanced playlist is going to be really important to understand microphone technique as a definition. So what do I mean when I'm talking about microphone technique? Whether or not I'm talking into one specific kind of microphone, or if I'm talking into another kind of microphone technique still applies. It doesn't really matter what kind of mic you're using. It can be a dynamic, it can be a condenser, it can be a broadcast dynamic, or it can be anything. It can even be a headset. No matter what kind of microphone that you're going to be using and utilizing, you have to also utilize microphone technique. So that is going to be the ways in which you manipulate a microphone to capture sound. So that can be anything. The angle of attack of the microphone, whether or not it's down or it's up. It can also be the positioning of the microphone, whether or not it's from above or below or in parallel, directly pointed at your mouth or the source that you're trying to record. It can also mean not only the positioning, but also the position of you. How far are you away from the microphone? And also, how loud are you speaking into the microphone? It can even be the way that you change the way you pronounce things, like rolling your lips or controlling your breaths and how fast they leave your mouth. It can be as intricate as that. Microphone technique is super duper simple to describe, but very, very hard to use in practice. Even I have difficulties trying to use some of these advanced techniques. But of course, with due time and practice, you'll be able to master these techniques and you'll have a better understanding of how microphones have a difficulty in telling the truth when trying to record the natural sounds that occur around them. So, with that out of the way, how microphone technique is basically everything in terms of how you use a microphone, not only physically here, but also on the mixing board or the control board or through a gain knob on an amplifier. All of these things, all of these controls affect how a microphone sounds and also how a microphone functions. So it's really important to recognize that all these things that you're doing is microphone technique. So we're now going to talk about microphones and why we need to employ microphone technique. Whether or not it's the distance or the volume you speak at, the angle of attack and the positioning and all that weird things that we will be talking about throughout the series. The reason why we need to do this is because the technology, whether or not it's an old microphone like this one, or if it's a modern day microphone like this one, they all have the same issues. And that is for some sad reason in terms of engineering, they are not able to really be at that level of capturing sound one-to-one. Each microphone has a different truth in how they record sound. But besides the color of sound, they also have a very hard time when they're just being blown at with wind. And that's exactly how we're speaking. We're using the wind, the air from our lungs, and we're pushing it out, our vocal cords, out through our mouths. And even though there's this big foam in the way, it's going through it. And it's hitting the microphone element, or this little portion of the microphone that is going to be taking those wind noises that we make with our weird functional mouths, and it's going to be changing it into a signal that is going to be recordable, readable by your computer. So that's kind of cool. This little element is in every single kind of microphone, whether or not be big like this or something at the radio station like this right here. You can see the elements on the inside on the Shure SM7B right in there. So for some reason, technology hasn't advanced enough to be able to handle the dynamics of our voices. So if we breathe into the microphone, that does not sound anything like how it would be if you were to breathe into someone's ear. Of course, ask permission if you want to experience what that's like. But just know that it is going to be completely different than what's recorded on a microphone. And it's just because the technology isn't good enough to really have a really good understanding of that one-to-one noise between something that's actually a voice and something that's just wind. So, microphone technique seeks to deal with the issues of microphones ever since their conception in, I believe, the early 20s or maybe even earlier. So be aware of this. Microphones are bad at capturing the human voice, and all that microphone technique really is how to deal with the issues and the weaknesses that microphones have, so that way we can come closer to them capturing the truth that our voices are trying to portray. So thanks for watching this definition of microphone technique. Hopefully you guys enjoy the following videos that come after this.